Remember the name Bouazizi and how all of those spillover effects all over the Arab world, and of course now you get to see the riots in the UK, and it's a reminder of what happened in 1992, the LA, the Los Angeles riots that burned that particular city for 6 days. Now coming back home, we've seen back and forth some bombings, spate of killings, and of course especially in Maiduguri, where you have the Boko Haram. Joining us to look at all of that security matters this morning and how best you can help to really get a better and a safer society is the Assistant Director Media of the State Security Services, Marilyn. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I think maybe let's take a cue from what is happening in the UK. Just yesterday, finally, they did accept that the police got it all wrong. Their tactics was wrong in curtailing that particular violence. Now, if we bring that back home, you know, sometimes we always expect, the security operatives to be overboard. That's the word, the operative word there, to be overboard. So how well can we really get busy and not bring up excuses after the act?
I'm happy that you're taking us back or taking us into what is happening in the UK. I want to say that Nigerians generally, we are too much in a hurry. We are not patient enough with security agencies. But what has happened in Britain, well, yes, has been able to provide an opportunity for people to judge. But things do happen in Nigeria. You have the security agencies all over the place trying to curtail with what is happening. But all we get is that, look, you guys are not doing enough. Intelligence failure. At least in Britain, I don't know whether they're talking about intelligence failure. But in Nigeria, the first thing any person will say is intelligence failure. Oh no, the IGP has to go. Oh no, the DGSSS is not doing enough. We're asking that Nigerians must learn to be patient, must learn to provide information, must learn to contribute to making our society crime-free, and of course, contributing in not just providing maybe physical efforts, but providing information. I think that was in Birmingham, you know, the civilians had come out, you know, were saying no, they were not going to allow people to come loot. Of course, you can imagine a man drove into the crowd and ended up killing some people. But those were civilians who came up to try to protect their environment. Yes, because maybe they were not security men and they were killed. But you see, the outrage is not the same with Nigeria. If that had happened in Nigeria, they would have said, oh, okay, the security services are asking us to come onto the streets so that we'll get killed in their state. We are all human beings.
So the way it is, well, let's not see how we can situate it home. We saw the committee put in place to really look at all of that. And just yesterday, the defense minister came up with another talk that they should investigate the allegation that they have seen in the papers, not that he got a formal should I say complaint from any quarter, but what he's seen in the papers about the killing specifically of a woman in Biu.
Well, I want to say that the media also, you know, sometimes, I think I had a chat sometimes last week with one of these media executives, and of course, you know, she confessed to me that sometimes, you know, because there is a dire need for news, and most times maybe the correspondents that go out, maybe the attitude of security agencies too, you know, in terms of information sharing, it's not forthcoming. So they come up with all sorts of, you know, if for example there's a rumor that somebody has been killed or there's a bomb blast somewhere, and because we are saying that we are investigating, and so we wouldn't want to give out information that easily, they just have to write something in order to make the people know that they are working. But at the long run, you know, for me, I think it's very, very dangerous for you to write on an issue that you have not, or you don't have sufficient information on. I wouldn't want to talk about what happened in Biu, because of course investigation is ongoing, and so if I begin to give our own side here, it might you know, jeopardize whatever is being done. But I know that apart from what the chief of staff is doing, I heard this morning on my way here that the president had said that the chief of staff must let him know exactly what happened in Biu. So let me not go into details as to what transpired.
Okay, you said something about Nigerians being impatient with security agencies. Do you blame them?
Yes, yes, I would say so, because an issue had just, maybe there's a blast now. Now, security has not actually moved in completely to know how many people were injured, how many people were killed, and what actually was the cause of the blast. Maybe something happened about 7. It's about 7:20 now. They want you to give them the complete details.
But then we or Nigerians believe that the security operatives, for instance, the Secret Service, they operate in the background, or they don't move when things happen, as in they are always gathering information. Now, if you say something happens at 7 and security officers haven't moved in yet, one would expect that they would have had...
No, when I say moving, not physically, not that they were not within the vicinity, but once there is a blast, you must be able to know the actual number of those, casualties, those dead, those injured, where they must have been taken to, whether they are receiving medical attention or not. You can't have a blast now and the next thing you want to talk to the press. No, there are procedures, there are processes, so that whatever information you're giving, you are sure that that information cannot be faulted.
Okay, well, we've seen examples of how, the scenario that you've just painted now happened, especially the last time you were here, I think it was sometime in June or July when the police headquarters, and then shortly after we saw that kind of scenario. But going back to Nyota's question about blaming Nigerians, I think it would be totally unfair to blame them, because if you look at how trust in authority, even in government, in security agencies, over the years has been eroded. People believe that security agencies are not really there for themselves, not there for Nigerians, they're there for themselves. Because if you also look at it, Nigerians are used to paying for everything. They pay for their own lights, they pay for their own water, they pay for their own security, they have vigilante groups. It's when things like bombings are now totally out of the reach that they begin to cry for help, like, hello, we're in a country. And I think what makes it worse is when it happens the first time, and then maybe days after, security agencies come out and say we're on top of the situation, and like a week after, the same thing happens, and we're still on top of the situation.
When it comes, terrorism in Nigeria is a novel threat. Now, for the security agencies, we must be able to develop capacity. The capacity you develop to fight maybe sabotage is not the same capacity you use in attacking a threat like terrorism. We are developing capacity. And when I say Nigerians are not patient, when the first blast went off and we said, look, there was this shared information and that measures were put in place to ensure that the number of casualties were not as much as, remember, it was the October 1 blast. And the target was the Eagle Square. But we had cordoned off the whole areas. Cars were being removed from the street, abandoned cars, And of course, when the blast eventually went off, we lost more security agents than Nigerians. But there was this huge cry that there was complete intelligence failure. And I said, when it comes to bombing, there is no country on earth that has been able to come, has been able to take complete charge of bombs. If bombs could go off in America, if bombs could go off in Israel, then I think we are doing our best. And that's why I'm saying Nigerians are not patient, because when things like that happen, instead of waiting for us to come, no security agency has said that he has not been able to do what he's supposed to do.